Happy New Year, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing fine. And this is me wishing you all a merry, a happy, prosperous, and fruitful 2025. But in this new year, I would love to encourage us once more on personal development, self-development, guys. It is really important and paramount as a human being to develop, as a human being to update, as a human being to keep evolving. And just as I would always talk about, self-development, I feel, will save a lot of the happenings that is going on in our world and our society currently, starting from relationships, divorce, marriages, fights, misunderstandings, lack of communication, lack of boundaries. All of those comes from personal development. So when we as people, human beings, a male or a female, you're not evolving, you're not trying to be better, you're not trying to update, you become docile. And that is what is happening in our society, where everyone is just doing what they feel or what they think is right, whereas there are perspectives or principles to different things, different aspects to life. If you want to be successful, there's a principle for that. If you want to be a lazy person or successful person, if you want to be a mediocre person, there's also a principle for that. If you want to be a kind person, there's a principle for that. If you want to go so far, there's a principle for that. So there's a principle for basically everything you can think or imagine. But we as a society and a generation, we are not looking forward to learning. We're not open to knowledge. We're just more of the cruise side. Everything is just all games, all fun. That when someone even stands up to, speak against some of these things, that person is castigated because it is believed or said everything is a cruise. And it is such a dangerous mindset that I would love to encourage anyone listening to me today to please develop a new mindset in this new year. No one is coming to save you. Your life is 100% in your hands. You're the architect, you're the driver of your life. How your life turns out is up to you. And just as I would always say, that your life is a reflection of your mind. So if you don't work on your mind, then there are so many things that will keep going wrong and wrong for you and in our society as a whole. So I would love for us to talk about things like personal development, self-development, especially because I feel if more people are able to come to that place of updating, getting more knowledge, seeking the proper things, then there are so many things that we'll not experience, especially in things like marriages, divorce, children, work, just every and almost every aspect of our life is tied down to this self-development. I want to encourage everyone listening to me, go out there and figure out what life is about. Who are you as a person? What do you like? Because even we as a person, just as things update, things renew, we also have to get to that point. You cannot be docile as a human being. What you know today or what you knew yesterday should not be what you know throughout the year. You should be able to gain more knowledge in different things, and it mustn't have to be too deep knowledge. It could be just a little knowledge from here, a little knowledge from there. By the time you add it, you have a broad knowledge of different things, and this will help you in life. That is why I said everything today boils down to personal development. People are not upgrading or updating themselves. Firstly, I would love to speak on consequential thinking. I feel a number of people, or so many people, do not do things with consequences in their minds. Because if we go about things knowing that there are consequences to our actions, there are so many things that will not be happening today. But so many people have gotten so used to a lifestyle of no consequences, or consequences not registering in their head, that when they deviate from the norm and it's time to face the consequences, people always hide under the umbrella of ignorance. I don't know, I wasn't told, I wasn't informed. And that is why we keep saying it is important for you to go and know, to seek knowledge, so that ignorance would not be an excuse for you or an umbrella, because ignorance itself is very dangerous. And what you don't know, you don't know. And there's a saying that goes, what you don't know is bigger than you. So I just want to advise you, as a lady, as a young guy, as a young girl, it is important for you to understand what life is, what you want out of life, who you are, where you are heading to. If you don't have a plan or have a destination to where you're heading to, any other journey will take you there, or any other road will take you there. Let's use TikTok as an example now. For the past few days, I've been seeing something trending where people are copying people's content verbatim, from the content itself to what the person is saying to their mannerism, where they pause, where they laugh, where they chuckle, down to all these things. And it's so mind-blowing, because the time it takes for you to get to figure out what I'm saying word for word, for you to replicate it, you can have that same time. In that same time, you can use it to develop your own thing, what you want to say, So it is really crazy to me that in a place like TikTok, people are copying each other or mimicking each other down to their mannerism, not just copying the content as itself, but everything the person is saying. The only difference is the face and the clothing. And if we continue like that, there are so many people that have gone off track, and the more we're going off track and the more the years is going by, it is so far, we'll go so far from where we're supposed to be, that coming back in its own is also another years, not to talk of getting back to where you left and then restarting all over again. And life is just more simple and easier if you go about things the right way, if you go about things with the right principles, because there are principles to almost everything on planet Earth. How to be great, how to be a loser, how to practice mediocrity. There are principles to that. There was somewhere I even learned or heard that even failure, there's a principle to fail. No one just wakes up and fail. There are things that you do or things you don't do that leads to you failing. But in all, guys, personal development, self-development is very important. As a human being, you should be useful, you should be productive, you should bear fruit. You did not come to this life to just be. And in as much as we place so much importance on money, I want us to understand that in as much as we've all not tasted that money, but from other people's experiences, from what they've said, and from the way you've come to understand life, you understand that life is not really about money, and life does not end in money. That is why there are so many people with so many monies, and yet there's no peace of mind, there's no satisfaction. There's a difference in having money, and there's a difference in having a purpose. And sometimes to fulfill our purpose, we need the finance. Finance is a very major aspect, but that is not all that there is to life, because generally the rule of life is money and ignorance does not go hand in hand. That is, wealth and ignorance, they do not go hand in hand. But in our current generation, they do. That you see so many people with money, but there's no substance really behind the money, or there's no knowledge behind the money. And wealth and ignorance is a very dangerous combo, and that is why we keep experiencing what we're experiencing today, because wealth and ignorance should not go hand in hand. So when they come together, then of course all the negative things we see, the negative talks, behavior, the things, everything will be negative, because it is not meant to be hand in hand. So guys, in as much as we're always trying to hustle for the bag, go after the bag, get the money, be comfortable in life, you come to realize that after getting the money, you're open to a different side to life, because purpose, according to Abraham Maslow's triangle for what a human being needs, is that highest will be self-actualization, which is your purpose. That even after getting the money, most people now, currently, everyone just wants to have money to go for the vacations, to enjoy the luxuries of life, which is very fine and very good. But then how long can you keep traveling? Because if you have the money to travel around the world, will become so easy, something you could do in a year. So after traveling around the world, then what next? It gets to a point where, and wealth, money, all these things, it comes with this energy of the moment you've done this thing, you want to do the next thing, and when you're not able to do the next thing, like basically in bracket, I would say man is insatiable. So once you be able to experience all the trips, the luxuries in life, there's always that what next. That is where the purpose comes in. And if you've not been able to figure out your journey, where you're going to, that is where that pressure comes from. People always asking you, what is next, what is next? And because you're not so confident in your plan, or not even having a proper plan or destination, you become pressurized by the society or your family members or your friends asking you what is next. But if you have a plan, a goal, a destination where you're going to, what is next would not be, or will not come off as a pressure to you, if you guys understand what I'm saying. If, for example, you're asking me, my goal is to do YouTube for the next 4 years, and at this point you're asking me what is next, I would like to keep doing the YouTube and the rest. It is very, because I'm so confident in what I want to do and knowing what I want to do, whatever is said will not get to me, neither will it come off as pressure, because I already know what I want to do. So even if people are coming to me now and saying by now I should stop doing YouTube, it is very important for you to always have it at the back of your mind that it is your life, you're in charge, you're allowed to do whatever it is you want to do. So all these things that comes from, or pressures of the society, at the end of the day, personally, I feel we let it get to us. It is not a pressure, it is only pressure according to you. Because someone can come today and tell me, oh, you've outgrown YouTube, for example, and all of that. But from what lens is that person talking? If you feel I've outgrown YouTube, and you as the person doing the YouTube doesn't think that way, then what that person is saying, or what those people are saying, should not come off as pressure, if that makes sense. So guys, it is really important for self-development, training your mind, seeking knowledge, going after knowledge. Before, or in the past, I used to say I was not a fan of reading, I don't used to read. But in this year, somehow I've been able to read 3 books, and I'm currently on my 4th book, which will be done by next year. I wish I could finish it this year, but it's not possible. And that also, the knowledge I've been able to gain from those books is a different thing entirely from the podcasts you listen to, the shows you watch, and wherever you get your inspiration, motivation, and knowledge from. It is really important that you actively seek knowledge in whatever it is you're doing. If you want to be a musician, you have to understand what music is all about. You don't just go into it because you're gifted. Having a talent and actually being great, they are 2 different things, because it's very easy for you to have the talent, but then where we talk about things like consistency, discipline, excellence, all those things are things that you have to build as a human being on your own. And that's also another part that I feel a lot of us do not understand. We feel it's like a follow come, or when you're ready immediately you're just consistent, and when you're ready immediately you're disciplined. But all of these things takes time and understanding why you're doing this thing, and also in the course of things, or the law of process, it takes time. You don't just wake up one day and be consistent. That is why they always advise us to always make things a habit or a lifestyle, so that we can be able to continuously do it. Because consistency, discipline, all of these things are not easy. And in as much as you feel, oh, this person is so consistent, there must be something, or perhaps they have so much money, that's why they are so consistent, that is not how life works. Every single human being is dealing with one challenge or the other. So being consistent, being disciplined is a mindset, and not a follow come, or something you just wake up today and develop it. It is a mindset that you continuously have to work on throughout the period of your life. So there's a lot of things and work that is required for us, that if you should really sit down and understand what is required of you from life, you understand that you should not be wasting your time on irrelevant things. As a young lady in your 30s, things like luxury, hair, nail, as much as they are good and beautiful, that is the least on your mind. And that is why it is so easy for a lady to have a house, a good house, for example, be able to wear fine clothes and have a car, and they feel they are set for life. And before you know it, after a decade, depending on how they manage the thing, it is not able to sustain them throughout, because life will keep requiring more and more from you. So as beautiful as having a house and a car in your 20s, in your 30s is beautiful, that is not the end. That should just be a starting point from you. You should not be able to get to a point in life where you feel so comfortable that you've arrived. If you keep having this mindset, then you will limit yourself so much. And All of these things, or most of these things, do not even happen in a day. It takes time. Before you know, you wake up and realize that things are not the way it used to be anymore. But when it's in the process, you might not even realize until it has happened. So guys, there's a lot in this world that you can want from. There's so much for you and I. That saying where they say the sky is big enough for everyone, it is truly big enough for you. My opportunities are mine, yours are yours. Even if we're in the same field, we get to experience different opportunities. Currently, there are different opportunities for you and I. It is just all up to us to step up to that place or into that person that would attract all of these things I have mentioned. So please guys, as a human being, you have to be fruitful. As a human being, you have to be active. You can't be docile as a human being. And this leads me to the aspect of our relationship. Modern day relationship, most times you hear the guys are always complaining, oh, the ladies this, the ladies that, the ladies are also complaining, the guys this, the guys that. But in reality, we are both playing our parts in how the relationship is going, how marriages are going, and how divorce is going. In today's age, you hear things on X where people are saying, oh, in the future, my baby mama has to be this, or my baby daddy has to be this. And it is so crazy that even in their imagination, people also tweet that even in your imagination, you see yourself having a baby daddy or a baby mama, not a husband, not a partner. So there is a wrong mindset we are taking, or we've cultivated, where even in your own thoughts, especially for my ladies, even in your own thoughts, you're always wishing for your husband to have so much money, your husband this, your husband that, your partner that, without even praying or asking of those things for your own self, manifesting those things for your own self. Is always for my husband, for my husband. And it's like, you're also a human being. You can also pray for that for yourself. And it is important for we ladies to understand that marriage or that husband is not going to save you from this life. That's not your cheat code. Some ladies tend to use marriage as a cheat code when they are tired of life. They don't want to, fight the good fight to be able to make something tangible out of life. So they hang on to this marriage aspect, and so long the man has money, they are good to go. But you should understand that regardless of how much money a man has, that is his money, not your money. As a human being, he's chasing his dreams. Whatever he's doing, he's serving his own dreams and purposes, not yours. Imagine that you were to be a philanthropist and you don't have any money. That's your purpose, to be a philanthropist. You don't have any money. How long do you think you can depend on your partner to keep giving you the money to fulfill your own purpose? Money that is coming from his own purpose is being given to you to fulfill your own purpose. There is no longevity, and that is something that we as a generation are missing. We don't think long term, we only think short term. Especially on TikTok these days, it's like the whole world wants to be a content creator, the whole world wants to be an influencer. But if you get to listen to what these people say and their plan, there's no long-term thinking. People are quitting their jobs. People are not going out there to pursue their purpose, their passion. Everyone just wants to be a content creator and an influencer. And it's like, in the next 5 years, if everyone is a content creator and an influencer, then who would be the audience? And God is so generous in sharing talents. We cannot all be content creators, we cannot all be influencers. There are some people that will be great doctors, there are some people that will be great lawyers, but because we are not willing to put in that work, we are just hung on this illusion of being a content creator and an influencer. And most times you hear people say it's because they want to get free things, it's because they want to be able to travel, to get free clothes, PR packages, and it's like there's no long-term thinking. What do you think will happen in 5 years? And if that is all is required to be a content creator and an influencer, then I believe the whole world will be making money from content creating and influencing. So guys, in our relationships, it is very important. If you've not been able to cultivate personal self-growth and development, you cannot be able to bring something tangible to the table in the relationship. That is why most times when men ask, okay, as a lady, what are you bringing to the table? You tend to hear love, affection, care. But then again, these are things that the man or the lady could give easily. We cannot keep depending on men for everything. There's this thing I was saying recently that I feel in 2024, if the government should bring a law that is banning women from working and making just men to be able to work, I feel like a lot of ladies would be so happy with the idea that the government is making men to be intentional providers without even realizing that their rights have been taken away from them. We'll be so into the fact that, okay, now every man is forced to be a provider, that we don't even realize that our rights has been taken away from us. So we are so, this mindset or this mentality has eaten so deep into our society that young girls are not willing to work, and especially for the elder ladies, the elderly ones that are supposed to be helping, showing us the way, telling us the proper things. The posts that they make online, for example, things like all these flowers, a lady getting $20,000, for example, and the best you can post is, if your boyfriend is not doing this same exact thing, you should dump him. If your boyfriend is not giving you this, then he's not the person for you. And we just keep feeding into this negative mindset, giving more younger girls the illusion that this is possible, this is the norm, of which is not the norm. There is no young lady now that wants to do 9 to 5 when she can be at home and there's a possibility that she can receive flowers with $20,000. There is no lady that would want to fight for her dream when she's seeing her mates online. This one is receiving this amount, this person is receiving this amount, and then we try to make it seem like it is the norm, whereas it's not the norm. In today's world, every lady believes she's going to marry a very rich husband. If you ask a lady, there's no lady that even in her imagination does not see herself marrying a rich man. But how many rich men do we have in this world, and how do you think is a possibility that another human being just as yourself would be able to be responsible for you throughout eternity? For example, when you get married, it is not a possibility. And even when it's a possibility, it's like a 1 in 100. And would you want to base your life on such risks? So it is really crazy, the mindset we've developed and we're using to date. We always complain, oh, men see us as sex objects, but then again we sexualize ourselves in so many ways. And also the men who are also complaining that women only want money from them, it's because it is still the same men that can just see someone and give them money for no just cause, just because of ego. That is why, or for me, I would say it's ego. Girls will massage your ego, play with your ego, and you just dish out ridiculous amounts of money, and then you tend to make it a norm. You give the girls the illusion that this is the norm, this is how things should be done, and then when the girls are moving with that illusion, it becomes a problem. So that is why I say there is no win-win in this situation. It is not just, oh, the guys are doing this or the ladies are doing this. Indirectly, one way or the other, we all have our respective roles to play. There's also this mindset a number or a lot of ladies have these days, which is the receiver's mindset. Ladies just want to receive without giving, and life doesn't work that way in any aspect. You cannot be just a receiver. That is even a very dangerous way to live life, where you're just receiving without giving anything. And that is why a lot of women are not even willing to put in the work for any personal development or whatever. They just believe that one way or the other, there's a guy out there that is for them. There's a guy out there that will give them all these things they want. And also the guys on the other hand, because the ladies are demanding money, there's no personal development, there's no work on themselves. They just go after the money to bring the money, and the ladies still don't go for the work. They just come to make sure that they're able to get someone that can give them everything they want. And I'm a firm believer that there is no human being on this planet that can give you what you want. You hear ladies say, oh, my husband is giving me my dream life, this person is giving me my dream life, maybe your father, your sibling, your partner, whatever the case may be. And to me, I would just say the standard is low, because I don't think there's any human being that can give you what you want. There is no one that can love you as much as you love yourself, if we are going to be realistic. Aside the relationship, marriages, father and mother, sibling, parent to child, there is no human being that can love you more than you love yourself. So you're the only person with your blueprint. Just as I have a vision, you cannot understand how my vision is, like, except maybe it's beginning to make sense to you, and also I cannot understand it. It works vice versa, So guys, it is very important that we develop the habits or the mindset of personal development, growth in everything we do. We cannot progress or succeed with having a mentality or mindset where we are not learning in any way or capacity. We're just all after the money, 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 money. Money is not everything, and that is why we'll keep having clashes in relationships, because this person does not know better, and that is why divorce rate keeps going up. Because two people who don't know themselves, two people who don't understand the world, they come together, get married, and they want to start a family. And you see that in less than 1 year of late, in less than a year, tops 2 years, people are getting divorced. The divorce rate is increasingly alarming. And then you hear takes on social media like, this generation is not taking bullshit like the last generation. That is why marriages are not lasting. But that is not the reason. The reason why marriages are not lasting is because people are not understanding what is even required of them. Now that you want to be a husband, now that you're about to be a wife, what does that entail from you? What does that require of you as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a father? What are you supposed to do? We don't study or learn all these things. We just, from dating, some people even get to date as far as 6 years, 7 years, they get married and it still doesn't work out. And it's like, what were you doing all those years that you've been together? So it is really important that if you don't get to understand life, if you're not able to understand life, you will not be able to know that this other person does not know as well. So when you come together, it is a very dangerous combo. And then when we give birth to children, we'll also pass that mindset onto the children, and they will come complaining that, where is God in all of this? God let this happen, God let that happen. But then if you think about it, God has given every man gifts of will that cannot be tampered by him or anybody. And if you as a human being, you refuse to know better, you refuse to go seek knowledge, you cannot act from a place of ignorance. What you don't know, you don't know. So imagine you don't know, you're not learning. How would you know that this person is learning? And if that person also is not learning, both of you are just moving with no purpose, no direction. And this is just something that is eating so deep into our society, where I keep saying we're bringing children to suffer, because sometimes children come to this world and the only thing they know up until their adulthood is lack and pain, lack and pain, lack and pain. And then tomorrow will also come out and accuse these people or belittle these people. Oh, you were ignorant, you didn't go to school, you didn't do this, you didn't that. But it was not their fault. They just happened to be a victim of wrong decision, be a victim of chance and life, because we don't get to pick where we come from. If I refuse to work on myself and I end up with a man that is not working on himself, because if I refuse to work on myself, I cannot know better. So let's say I refuse to work on myself and I end up with a man that does not also understand life. When both of us come together, like, what would you think the result would be? And then when divorce is happening, we're also wondering, why is this happening? And in as much as we feel like we're better than the other generation or the generation before us, that is not the case. I feel like we're still repeating the same circle. That, personally speaking, this is my personal opinion, I feel gentle parenting came from the idea that the generation before us did a lot of wrong in the parenting aspect. So this time around, because it came with a lot of trauma due to the parenting of the older generation, this time around we want to do better for our children. But in the process of wanting to do better and being different for our children, we're becoming too lenient and even actually causing more damage to the children, both mentally and psychologically. There was a video I saw on X where a baby was destroying things in Walmart and the parents was just standing, they were not doing anything, and it is crazy, because children are a blank slate. Whatever a child turns out to be is what has been put into him by their parents, by the society, regardless. So guys, we need to do things better to be able to enjoy a better life. Before you go out saying, it's the rich, or the rich are doing this, rich are doing, guys, everything that you need in this life has been given to us. Like, God has provided us with everything. So if you're refusing to work on your mindset, you should not be surprised if life is not working out the way you want it or the way you think. Because another thing is, we as human beings, there are some of us that have this illusion or idea of the person we are, but that is not who we are. I can have the mindset or the illusion that I am this. For example, I am this celebrity who is so big, who is this, who is that, whereas in reality I am not working on myself, I am not doing anything, but I am acting out of being a celebrity in my head. I'm coming from that place, but my actions and who I am are not rhyming together. Why? Because I am coming from the illusion and not actuality. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. So there's sometimes that we create a picture, a mental picture of ourselves, and our reality is not matching up to that. And sometimes we get angry as to how people are not able to see what we are seeing, without realizing that we are just acting out of illusion because we're not putting in the work. For everything to work out, guys, if you picture yourself as, for example, an influencer, you have to do everything that is in line with influencing. You cannot see yourself as an influencer, refuse to grow, refuse to do anything, and then get angry that people are not seeing you as an influencer and people are not according you with that respect. So it is really important. That is why if you keep developing yourself, you keep upgrading, you keep wanting to know better, to seek knowledge, there are so many things that will tend to come easy to you. It is not easy, it's just that now that you have the right knowledge, it's easier for you. And knowledge is a never-ending process. Till the day we die, we have to keep seeking knowledge. Doctors, for example, doctors keep learning, reading, writing exams till the day they stop working or till the day they die. That is how life should be. You cannot just stick onto the knowledge of yesterday or the knowledge of last year. Knowledge of last year and yesterday cannot help you today. In today's world, it cannot help you guys. So I just want to encourage everyone, in this new year, please, we have to work on ourselves. We've gotten so far from where we're supposed to be, and this today on social media, there's so many noise, there's so much noise on social media. If you scroll through TikTok, at least the 10 videos you will pass, out of those 10 videos, 8 are people saying different things. So if you don't know better, how would you be able to differentiate who is saying the truth or who is being degenerate, or who is sharing something that is harmful? And all of these things, like I see, like the luxury life, guys, it is very beautiful, it is nice, it is for every human being to experience, but life cannot just be tied onto that. There are things that if you even go out to try and harness your talents, follow your purpose, chase your passion, then all of these things would be like a follow come for you, if I may. So guys, it is really important to please work on yourself. It is just crazy that TikTok video, and not one person, there are lots of people that just go on TikTok and study what people say, from their content down to what they say verbatim, and post it on their channel. So that time that you've used to try and copy or mimic that person to learn what they're doing, you could have learned it yourself. Guys, life is not film trick. You have to put in the work. We're running from the work, yet we want the money, we want the accolades, we want the respect, yet we are running from the work. You see that it doesn't make sense, and it's never going to make sense. So I just want to encourage anyone listening to me, guys. This divorce issue, relationship issue, having children, baby mama, baby daddy culture, all of these things will not stop if we as individuals are not working on ourselves. It is not magic. Your life will go as you plan it. Your mindset, what is your mindset? What mindset are you upholding? You hear people say ignorant takes, and most times people who are even ignorant are refusing to learn. If you don't know, you don't know. So guys, please make life easy for yourself. Go out to seek knowledge. As a human being, you need to be updating in your knowledge seeking. As a human being, you cannot be docile. You cannot depend on another person to take you out of the trenches. You cannot depend on your partner to save you. There are some ladies who cannot believe or understand why someone like Beyonce is still working. According to them, she's a billionaire's wife that is still working, but they are forgetting the key word, that she is a billionaire's wife, not a billionaire herself. And that is the part that I feel a lot of ladies tend to miss. Your husband being a billionaire does not equate you to being a billionaire. That is his own purpose. You get to enjoy everything from that, but that doesn't make you a billionaire. So it is really crazy when you hear ladies being amazed that someone like Beyonce is still working, because she has money, her husband is a billionaire and all of that. And the goal is, why can't she be a billionaire herself? I don't know why we as ladies don't like to dream big. Money was not left for just men. God did not create the hustle culture for just men, or the work culture for just men. As a woman, you can dream as big as you want and get what you want. That your husband is a billionaire does not stop you from putting in that work and becoming a billionaire. What is better than one billionaire? Two billionaires, of course. So we need to get rid of this mindset of, I have a man that will take care of me. As a woman, when I step into a place, men should give me money just because I'm beautiful. Like, what has beauty got to do with money, life, and purpose? There's so much more to life than all these things we hold on so dearly to. And we need to start the work now, because the road is long and the journey is so far. So if you don't start now, you're only putting yourself at a disadvantage, because time is against you, number one. And number two, also, the things we do in our youthful age, they tend to come and hurt us in the future. Don't let anyone lie to you and deceive you that your youthful age is for fun, to just live anyhow life and believe that automatically once you're approaching 30, or you just entered your 30s, 30 something, that is when you should change. Life doesn't work that way, especially on social media these days. People are not forgiving. There are people that will hold on to your past even more than they hold on to their passion, just waiting for that moment to attack you. So it is really important, not even for the society, it is really important that you as a person do not live a reckless life in your younger age or your youthful age and say that is what your youth is for. That is not what your youth is for. Your youth is for you to understand yourself, get to know yourself, get to understand life, and also to understand God. That God factor is what will really, really save you, especially if you're a Christian. This is for my Christians. If you're a Christian, guys, knowing God just makes everything so easy for you. So guys, I just want to encourage you, please go out there and make something tangible for yourself. And then guys, to round it up, I want to talk about standards, and this also applies specifically to my fellow ladies. Having standards, I feel like we've abused this word standard so much that these days there are even courses on how to get men, how to get high valued friends, how to get high valued relationship, like all of these things that is supposed to come easy without you even putting in the work, going as far as paying for evil. Life should not be difficult like that. Before you come out and say this is your standard as a lady, you should be able to keep up with your standard. If, for example, I say any guy I meet should be able to get me a house, get me a car, get me this and this and this, then me as a human being myself, I should be able to be in a place where I can get myself the car, the house, and all of that. That is what we call as a standard, because that is what I am already doing for myself. Before you come into the picture, that is the standard. But as a lady, you cannot be unemployed and jobless, doing nothing tangible, and be like, oh, this is the standard I have, and any man that is not able to meet up to this standard is, for example, would say he's not up to the standard, or he's not man enough, without even realizing that most of these things that we are asking of from other people or the men, we're not able to provide them ourselves. So how can that be your standard if you're not able to even do it yourself? Your standard is a lifestyle. It is not something that, oh, so long you can afford this and this, that is it. Standard is a lifestyle. If I say any guy should be able to afford to get me this robe, then I should be able to get myself this robe. That is because that is my standard. That is why I made mention of this in some videos back, that most of us as ladies, we have the illusion we don't really have a standard. It's just an illusion, because most of the things we say, okay, this is my standard for you to be able to fly me, get me this and that. If you check, we are not able to get ourselves these things, and that is why the men will also not take us serious, because at the end of the day, we complain that we don't want to be seen as sex objects. Yet if you see what some of us wear outside, if you see how some of us behave, I came across a video where a lady was on a onesie, which is like a bikini, and she was cooking, she was twerking, and it's just, when you see videos like that, you're just left with so much, I don't even know, utter confusion, speechless. Things like that just drag us 10 steps back. We have to come to a place where we have self-respect, we have dignity. We have to bring back dignity and self-respect. Don't be out there asking people for what you're not even able to give yourself, and then go ahead as getting angry at those people, or even go as far as insulting those people, when in reality you on your own cannot afford all of those things. So guys, it is 2025. We have to cultivate a new mindset. If not, we will keep repeating the same old circles and just keep coming online to insult each other. Men are this, women are that, relationship is this, relationship is that. If you say a relationship is not transactional, that is why I always ask myself, and I tell ladies that, ask yourself as a lady, if money was not in this relationship, would I truly be in this relationship? And if you're honest enough with yourself, you will have your answer. That is also another thing I would love for us to have as human beings: honesty. Guys, honesty is very important. Also, do not let society pressure you into doing anything. Do not let society or age pressure you into giving birth, getting married, doing whatever it is, because at the end of the day, those people, society, would not be there to help you do those things. It is a very dangerous thing to keep going with the society. What we talk about in this life, that there are shifts in this world. When you keep growing and coming to the realization that a lot of people live lives like ships, they are just going with the flow. There's no direction. They are not in actual control of their lives. Social media is controlling their life, that celebrity is controlling their life, that influencer is controlling their life, that family member is controlling their life. Societies, so we often tend to have the illusion that we're in control of our lives, whereas we have zero control or little control over our lives. Guys, this topic is just, there's a long list of things to talk about, and we just have to start somewhere. And change does not come by just talking about it. Action, it is very important. Action, guys. We really need to do better if we all want to enjoy a good society, good relationships. And the funny thing is, there are still people who are enjoying all these things 100% without all this drama and takes we have on social media. But then those people will not come out to say anything. They are just somewhere enjoying themselves and giving you the illusion that everyone is in a bad relationship, everyone is in a bad marriage. That is not how life is. There are so many people that are enjoying all these things that we are complaining about, but because they know better, they are not out there talking. So it's like it's not happening. And if care is not taken, a time will come where those people will be to themselves and they will leave everyone that is with the wrong mindset, to deal with each other. And when we keep doing like that, that is why there is no fruitful yield. We need to have consequential thinking. We need to start thinking long term. Long term, it is very important. We need to stop letting society and pressure. Social media is a world on its own, and that world is very different from our real world, our reality, and the line has been blurred. So many people cannot even differentiate social media world and reality, and that is why all of these things keep happening and would not stop or change until we start taking actions individually and then as a society, because collectively we all affect ourselves. That's why I see a mixed statement, like a time is coming where there are some children that will start asking their mom, their parents, what was the purpose of bringing me to this world? What was the purpose? What were you trying to achieve bringing me to this world? And we'll be left with nothing to answer. So please, let's save the next generation, in as much as the generation before us have done their own parenting and a number of people complain. We have so much trauma carried in us. We cannot and should not pass it to the next generation, and this circle would not break until we actually actively start working on it. As we are talking, the same way we tend to laugh and shame the other generation, we are repeating the same circle. So many women are becoming single mothers, and then we tend to blame, especially ladies. We need to have this conversation that we have to have consequential thinking. You cannot just go about life doing everything and then leave the blame for everybody without taking the blame yourself. There are some ladies that once they see a guy driving a nice car, a nice house, that is it. No discernment, nothing. And then when it goes sour, you come to say, oh, men are this, men are that. And then for the men, when you've given a woman money so much that you made it a standard and you're not able to meet up to the standard, and this person is like, I can't keep up, you say women are this. So we've just got to do better collectively, and yeah, to not keep talking round and round in circles, because this is a topic that I am really passionate about, because I believe with everything in me, I believe that if more people pay attention and invest time in themselves and their personal development, all these conversations we're having will not be happening. Ignorance, we need to chase ignorance with everything in us. Go out there, seek knowledge. But yeah, guys, let's go into our quote for the week. What's our quote for this week? Our first quote for this week would be, life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. And then the next quote would be, excuses makes today easy, but tomorrow hard. Discipline makes today hard, but tomorrow easy. And yeah, guys, I just want to leave you guys with these encouraging words, and just to encourage you once more that in all you're doing in 2025, make sure that as a human being, you're not the same person you were in 2024. That the mindset you have should keep evolving. You know, there's so much to learn. There's a lot of materials on the internet for you to learn from. So in case you don't have friends, you don't have people, you don't have mentors, there's a lot of things, materials for you to learn from. And we can save ourselves from making mistakes. We can learn from other people's mistakes without having to go through that mistakes ourselves. And sometimes mistakes can be so costly, so costly, that it is not just necessary. You know, it is so unnecessary to go through such a mistake when you could learn from other people's mistakes and the world as a large. So please, we need to do better. 2025, develop a new mindset. As a human being, you have to be productive. As a human being, you have to bear fruit. And this is not just about reproduction or birthing children. As a human being, lady or man, no gender is exclusive to this. As a human being, you've got to be useful. As a human being, you've got to keep developing yourself. Softwares are always updating. iPhones, phones, tables, whatever it is, they are always updating and evolving. Not to talk of you as a human being. Make it your goal in 2025 that with all your might, you will make sure to have a good life. And good life comes from your mindset. You cannot run from the work and expect a good life. Just go out there, figure out the principles you need to follow for whatever path it is you choose to follow. And I wish you guys all the best, that everything will work out so long you put in the work and keep believing. Once more, I pray 2025 is a fruitful year for all of us. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't. Give it a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I make a post. Subscribe, guys. Don't just watch the video. Subscribe, share, to keep the conversations going with your loved ones, your friends. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me.